Good evening, everybody. My name is Alfred Hanser, co-CEO of GIA Wellness. Company has been around now for 15 plus years. We're super proud of that because, as you guys know, it's not easy to grow a business from scratch. We are a self-financed business from day one. We've never taken any bank loans or anything like that. So it was a Herculean effort to make sure that we get this baby that we call GIA off the ground, make sure it grows up, and grown up it did in a big way. We've expanded into multiple countries since inception. We've generated well over $100 million in sales during that time, and we've paid out well over $50 million in commissions over those years. And so it's been a super exciting journey. It would not have been possible without people's support. Of course, our lifeblood of this business are great independent consultants, affiliates, distributors that are out there sharing the GIA message on a daily basis. And I'm going to share tonight with you what it is that they are focusing on and what they're sharing. So with that, our motto, our mantra is your wellness made better. So wherever you are on your wellness journey, we'll take you from that spot to the next level. And tonight I want to talk a little bit about navigating the digital lifestyle. That's the lifestyle all of us live in, whether we like it or not. And I'm going to give you an insight as to how GIA's patent and proprietary solutions help your body thrive in that wireless world. And there's going to be lots of different aspects, perspectives, and angles to this. So as I mentioned earlier, buckle up. It's going to be a lot of information, but hopefully you enjoy it. So here's some key factors that are preventing people in generally from reaching peak performance. And that's really what all of us strive for. I have some athletic background in addition to my business background. I can tell you, in athletics, that's all we were striving for was peak performance. You know, who's the best on one particular day, whether it's a game, a match, a race, whatever it may be, the competition you're involved in. But even just in regular life, what is the peak performance you can reach as an individual, whether you're an athlete or not? Well, there's a couple of components, and they're important. Subpar hydration is one of them. Nutritional deficiencies, free radical damage or premature aging, poor energy or poor biofield care. Yeah, we're going to talk about that tonight as well. Lack of quality sleep and recovery, life stressors, and the inability to tap into your personal potential. All of those things contribute to people not reaching peak performance. Now, in order to understand what it takes to get to peak performance and how GIA can help you along that path, we got to talk a little bit about the science of stress. And there's four kind of main components here that I'm going to talk about in this particular slide. Physiological stressors, absolute stressors, psychological stressors, and relative stressors. And they're all different. Physiological stressor, for example, is one that puts strain on your body. I mentioned temperature a minute ago in the intro. Well, if you're in 115 degrees in the middle of the desert, that's a physiological stressor. An absolute stressor would be what everybody exposed to would interpret as being stressful. So we recently had an earthquake here in California. It was pretty scary. Pretty high on the Richter scale. You know, things were shaking and things were falling off the shelves and all that stuff. Well, that's an absolute stressor. I mean, unless you go through them every single day, granted, there's a bunch of them in California, but it's still a new experience and it's stressful every time it happens. Psychological stressors, events, situations, anything that we interpret as negative or threatening. So let's say you want to go out for date night, you can't find a babysitter. Well, that's a psychological stressor for that moment, for that hour, for that minute, whatever it may be. And a relative stressor causes different reaction to different people. So some people are really good at processing, let's say, time pressure at work or traffic or paying taxes, but other people, major stress response when it comes to those things. So that's kind of where the stress falls into those four quadrants. But the fastest growing stressor right now on the planet is ambient radiation. That's where we live, work, and play. You know, smart homes, electric cars, hybrid vehicles, places of entertainment, for example. I had the chance to go to the Sphere in Las Vegas. My wife took me for my birthday last year to watch one of my favorite bands, U2, perform at the Sphere. And, you know, while the concert was phenomenal, I also recognized that I wouldn't walk into that space without being surrounded by GIA products if you paid me for it. I mean, I had my pendant on, I had my cell guard, my universal guards, my harmonizer. I mean, I went in there equipped to the hilt, making sure that I will be able to counteract or my biofield will be able to withstand that assault of the electromagnetic radiation in that place. So even places of entertainment that you would not consider being potentially toxic, they are hugely so. Now, let's talk a little bit about kind of the good news, the road to peak performance with GIA and how we approach those toxins, those stressors, and how we help you along the way of peak performance. Well, 4 key pillars. We do it through hydration, nourishment, energy, and empowered aging. Those are the 4 categories. Let's start with energy and give you a little insight. So electromagnetic radiation, cell phones, cordless phones, wireless routers, entertainment spaces like I mentioned, your place of work, your car, etc. All those devices, all of those environments can cause what's called oxidative stress, impair mitochondrial function, disrupt sleep, all of which reduces energy levels and impacts cellular processes. So that's not me saying that, that's published research and science confirming that. When we look at 5G, which is the current technology level that we're on, right? We used to be 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G, now 5G, 6G is going to come, no doubt, 7, etc. You get the point. We're going to look at or take a quick deep dive into what 5G does specifically to the human body, and then biofield physiology. How does a biofield work, and how can you care for it? As I mentioned, we live, work, and play in an unhealthy fog of wireless radiation. Why is that important? Because there's a mechanism of harm that happens when you're exposed to electromagnetic radiation. Your biofield, that's the collective energy emanating from every single cell in your body, kind of think of it as the energetic envelope that all of us walk around in, or to give you a metaphor, what your heart is to your circulatory system and your lungs are to your respiratory system, your biofield is to your energetic system. So it's kind of the energy organ. And that biofield picks up electromagnetic radiation frequency, interprets it as a threat. And it does that irrespective of whether you're in a 4G, 5G environment or anything similar to those things, even satellites. That triggers a fight or flight response in the body that interferes with the cellular metabolism. So now nutrient channels are compromised in your body. Dehydration starts setting in. Now you're starting to connect the dots, right? You saw earlier, one of our key pillars is hydration to reach peak performance. Well, when you're in an electropolluted environment and this domino effect is occurring, your body slowly dehydrating, unintentional chronic dehydration starts setting in, well, you better have a patented and proprietary hydration technology like the GI water in your back pocket to make sure you counteract that. And we'll get to that, how that works. But in addition to dehydration, there's a cascade of non-ionizing biological effects, meaning effects that you may not even feel, but they're happening in the body. Your immune system gets compromised due to the constant fight or flight because you're constantly stressed, your body's under constant stress load, and that leads to vulnerability, illness, disease, to viruses, etc. So it's that run-down feeling, that tired feeling, that exhausted brain fog, all of those things that many people don't even correlate to the exposure to electropollution. Then you throw on top of that poor nutrition, poor hydration, poor sleep, and let's say lack of exercise. Now you got a real trifecta of problems that are going to show up in your health. So let's talk a little bit about oxidative effects. What's an oxidative effect? Very simply put, think of an apple, right? You cut an apple in half, you let it out, leave it out on the countertop, it's going to brown very quickly. That's oxidation. Or you have a piece of steel out in a humid environment, piece of metal, it's going to oxidate, it's going to rust. Well, same thing, metaphorically speaking, happens with human cells. When we're exposed to toxins, they oxidize. So 93% of studies have confirmed that radiofrequency radiation induces oxidative stress in biological systems. That means premature aging starts setting in. So if you're looking at your skin and it doesn't look as radiant and clean and youthful and young as you want it to, it's a very good chance electropollution has a big part of that because your cells are constantly fighting or getting pummeled by the frequency the body doesn't understand. But it's not just the skin. There's psychological behavioral issues, depression, anxiety, emotional stress, irritability, immunological things, cellular issues, neurological issues, dizziness, vertigo, ringing in the ears, tinnitus, headaches, you name it. All of those things have been directly correlated or indirectly correlated to electromagnetic radiation. Think of it this way. Think of all of these other stressors in life that we are surrounded with, that are part of our life, many of which I've mentioned. Those are fires, little fires, and they're kind of smoldering right all around you. And then you have electric pollution in the mix, and that's the gasoline that's poured on all of those fires. It ignites the massive fire of fight or flight in your body. Speaking of fight or flight, we talked about the biofield a little bit. Let's talk about in a little bit more depth. Let's talk about the secrets of the human biofield. Every human is a complex, multidimensional energy being. National Institute of Health, they have coined the term biofield in 1992. They wanted to come up with a term that would describe this energy field that many other cultures and regions in the world have coined different things. In Far East, it's called chi. Some of them call it prana, the force of life, whatever it may be. Some people have called it aura, but in essence, it's really much more integrated than that. It's the collective energy emanating from every single living cell in your body. As I mentioned, it's metaphorically speaking your energy organ. And the physiology of the biofield is interesting. It's the idea that living things create and react to energy fields. So we're like electromagnetic and light-based fields that help them stay balanced and organized, from cells all the way to the whole body. You think about it, biofield's made up, so cells make up tissue, tissue makes up organs, and organs make up the organism. So whatever's happening on the cellular level ultimately is expressed in the organism as a whole, because the organism is nothing but the collective of all cells. So scientists have studied these fields alongside traditional biology and physics. They have seen them as an extra layer of how the body controls and maintains itself. So biofield care is hugely important. And that works alongside the usual chemical processes that we already know about in the human body. So caring for your biofield is crucially important because your first line of defense against external stressors, including electromagnetic radiation. So now I want to give you a few correlations as to what happens to the biofield, for example, with DNA damage or oxidative stress or inflammation. So studies have suggested that electromagnetic fields from wireless devices disrupt sleep. They cause physiological stress and accelerate aging, including DNA damage. Oxidative stress, we've already talked about. Inflammation, chronic exposure to wireless radiation promotes inflammation. We're talking about system dysfunction. Prolonged stress and exposure to certain wireless radiation can weaken the immune system, increasing disease risk and accelerated aging. Neurological issues, brain activity impairing neurological health, cognitive impairment, prolonged exposure to radio frequencies associated with cognitive impairments, memory and attention deficits, which worsen with age, cardiovascular issues. Well, stress, aging, and wireless radiation together, they impact your heart health. And of course, we also talk about hormonal disturbances, especially in somebody who may be pregnant, somebody who may go through hormonal changes in their life due to age, whatever it may be. All of that is being negatively impacted by radio frequencies. And then there's cellular aging, kind of the ultimate, holy grail of aging. Studies have suggested that chronic exposure to certain radio frequencies has an impact on what's called your telomere length and your cellular senescence, which are sections of DNA found at the ends of the chromosomes in your body and your cells, and the markers of cellular aging. So think of it this way. The telomere is think of it as a wooden stick. And every day that goes by, and every day that you're stressed, and every day that you're chronologically aging, a little piece of that wooden stick gets snipped off. And once the telomere basically has disappeared and length is at its minimum stump, that's when the cell dies. So people, by looking at your telomere length, they can guess what your biological age is. And so radio frequency has shown to have a speeding up type of impact on the chopping down of your telomeres. And that's a crucial finding, and it's one that's really, really concerning. So now let's look at hopefully some of the better news, right? What can you do about these things? How does GIA attack these particular stressors, topics, and influences? So we're going to look at our 5G solutions and biofield care products. I mentioned earlier, our mantra, our motto is your wellness made better. So every product that we curate, we do that with one purpose in mind, and that supports your wellness journey by optimizing those 4 foundations you see on the screen: hydration, energy, nourishment, and empowered aging with skincare. So we use standout ingredients, years of research, patent and proprietary technologies. We put them all in a blender and we create peak wellness products for you. And we've done that, as I mentioned now, for 15 plus years. We have several million customers. We have over 100,000 distributors. And as I mentioned, we have really brought this to the masses. And the success of the company has been a combination of the quality of these products and technologies and what they, how benefit-driven they are. And of course, the passion, enthusiasm of our consultants that are bringing this to the world. And it really requires both components to create a successful business, especially in our distribution channel of referral marketing. So let's talk a little bit about technology breakdown. Single file alignment, you're going to hear that acronym, that word a lot in GIA. It basically takes the chaotic structure of water that your body has a very difficult time absorbing, breaks that down into a single file line. Technically, it's called long-range molecular alignment, but that's a mouthful. So we came up with SFA, and one of our great leaders in GIA came up with, hey, did you even recognize that SFA also stands for super fast absorption, which I love. So kudos to them for coming up with that. And so people use that interchangeably. Single file alignment, super fast absorption. One is describing what it is, the other describes the benefit. I think you get the drift. So what are the benefits? 3 times more hydrating than regular water, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral properties, supports a balanced pH, supports a healthy microbiome. Now, you're going to ask yourself, well, how does it do that? Well, it's still just water, but it's water that actually gets into your body much quicker because it has a different viscosity. We rearrange, as I mentioned, that molecular alignment into a single file. We pair SFA with a technology called ERT, Energy Resonance Technology. What does it do? It's kind of like if SFA is the password that gets things into your cell, the username, ERT is the password. So SFA and ERT together are the username and the password to make sure that things actually get into your body where they're supposed to go. ERT increases bioavailability of substances. ERT runs like a red thread to every single GIA product. Doesn't matter whether it's liquid, solid, whether it's in hydration category, energy, you name it, any category, any product carries energy resonance technology. It's frequency-based, powerful, enhances physical stress resilience, directly works with your biofield. It's phenomenal. So what do we do? How do we attack in the energy category? How do we attack electromagnetic radiation life stressors? Through a 3-pronged approach. We have environmental solutions, body-worn, and device-specific. And by an environmental, I mean your personal environment, not necessarily the environment out there that you're not interacting with, but your environment, your work environment, sleep environment, leisure environment, driving environment, you get it. So here's some of those solutions on the screen. We're going to go through a few of them. If you want to check out all of them in detail, go to either giawellness.com or go to the website, the personal website of the person who invited you on tonight's webinar to see more information about these products. Those websites, by the way, are mirrored. So whatever is on the corporate side, you will see on our individual consultant's site. But we highly encourage you, of course, to go to the individual consultant's site and place your orders there. Make sure that there's a linkage and a referral between you and the person who invited you on the call. Now, patents, yeah, they're important in GIA and we're proud of them. Compositions for protection against electromagnetic radiation exposure. That's one of the patents that is powering the technologies that we distribute and market in GIA. How does it work? Well, very simply but powerful. When electromagnetic radiation is present, I'm going to pick up my cell phone. I'm going to just show you kind of if you can see this on the screen. So here's my cell phone. And when I have the GIA technology, which I do, on my phone, electromagnetic radiation, even if my phone is in standby, it triggers the patented polymer material that is in the technology that I have on my phone. So When that happens, a wave is emanated by the patented polymer material that's on my phone. That wave superimposes itself on the radiation wave. So we're not diverting, we're not blocking, we're not shielding radiation, because if we did that, your phone wouldn't work anymore. You can't shield radiation and still expect to have a signal that allows you to send text messages and images and videos and all that and make a phone call. So anybody, very important point, caveat, side note, but important, if anybody in this industry tells you, I have a radiation blocker on my phone, run. Because if the radiation blocker worked, it would block the radiation and also block the signal of your phone, and you couldn't use your phone anymore. If they claim it's a radiation blocker and it sits on the phone and the phone still works, their claim is still incorrect because they're not blocking radiation. If they did, the phone wouldn't work anymore. And if it partially blocked radiation, which some bogus companies are making claims about that as well, if you're partially blocking it, it's actually worse for you, because anything that inhibits your phone's signal output, the phone is programmed to increase power output to find the signal. So the more a signal inhibiting you are, the worse it gets for you, meaning the more radiation you're exposed to, because the phone is basically stepping on the accelerator of power output. So be very, very careful when you read these fantasy claims of people blocking and shielding radiation when it comes to communication device. That's not the solution. The solution is to change the wave in how it impacts your body. So to give you a metaphor, think of our technology as SPF, sun protection factor, right? SPF, when you put it on your skin, it doesn't make the sun go away. It doesn't block the sun. The sun still hits you, but it changes how the rays of the sun, the UV rays, how they impact your skin. So the sun's still there, like radiation is still there when I'm using my phone, but the way the radiation is impacting my body is changed. So that's kind of a metaphor that's worked for a lot of people. So step 3, once I've masked that wave, not blocked, not diverted, masked, that's when the body now positively responds to that masked wave. Why? Because the body understands and likes randomized waves. What the body, because the Earth's magnetic field is randomized as well. The body does not like repetitive high-frequency waves that bombard the cells. So we are taking that repetitive wave that comes from your cell phone without, if it doesn't have the GIA technology on it, we are turning that into what's called a randomized wave pattern that the body actually positively responds to and understands. Very important distinction. The other brilliant aspect to this technology is it is powered by the very toxin that it counteracts. Think about that. So the same way that light powers, fluorescent materials. So light hits a fluorescent material and, let's say you have these little dots, stars on kids' bedroom ceilings that at night they light up. Well, during the day, light hits that particular material. At night, it regurgitates the material out. It regurgitates it during the day as well, but you don't see it during the day. But at night, when it's dark, all of a sudden you look up, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a starry sky in this room. It looks amazing. Well, how is that paper powered? It's powered by light. And in our case, how is this technology powered? By the very radiation that comes off your phone. So literally, we have this kind of magical on and off switch in our technology, in the sense that if there's no radiation present, our technology sits dormant because it's not being stimulated. But as soon as radiation is present, it comes alive and it emanates that randomized wave that masks the radiation wave. It's probably a little bit more detail than you're used to, but as you can tell, hopefully, I'm really excited about these things because as a science geek, these are the type of things that are game changers in the industry. And that's part of the reason why they've become so popular for us here at GIA. So let's look at some of the validation. 90% of the brain hotspots have shown a significant reduction in amplitude. That's huge. That means usually when you put your phone up against your head and you have radiation penetrating into your head, into the brain, there's heat spots. About 270 different heat spots are being tested by SAR institutes or specific absorption rate laboratories. And what they have found is that with the GIA technology on the phone, those brain hotspots are significantly reduced in amplitude. And again, proof positive that we have a technology that actively works on counteracting the effects of radiation exposure. Same thing with SAR testing, specific absorption rate, dramatically different when the GIA technology is on your phone versus when it's not on your phone. And of course, when I say on your phone, this also applies to all other gadgets and devices that you can put our cell guards and universal guards on, because they all contain, our technologies all contain this particular patented and proprietary technology duo. So it's not just a cell guard that will do that. Brainwave profile imaging, same impressive results. On the left, you see this was a no radiation exposure, somebody who wasn't on a phone yet. Slow mode, normal pattern, brain is kind of relaxed and chill. In the middle, you'll see radiation exposure without GIA in the mix. Brainwave profile is very disrupted and very animated and aggravated. That's what a stressed out brain looks like. And on the right-hand side, you see with GIA in the mix, very normalized brainwave patterns. As a matter of fact, even more relaxed than the baseline was. So what is ERT? If it's not clear already, I'm going to quickly summarize it for you. Resonant energy is the enrichment, the intensification of energetic frequencies. So we are basically using matching frequencies, a bunch of them, over a dozen, that we blend, metaphorically speaking, and we use those frequencies to create an energy enhancement in the biofield. So think of our technologies as singer A, and think of your body's biofield as singer B, and those two are singing in harmony. And when they're singing in harmony, the combined tone that comes from that song is entirely more beneficial, beautiful, and in an energetic sense, more resistant to the outside stressors that we are exposed to. So ERT, very, very powerful. Our biofield, we know, responds to frequencies, and therefore we pack those frequencies in all of our products, some of which you see on the screen. And as I mentioned, if you want to check them all out, read the research, how to use them, directions, instructions, the whole nine, testimonials, visit the website of the person that invited you on tonight's call. From the environment area, you mentioned, earlier, you probably remember, I have a little circle that says environmental, body-worn, device-specific. From the environmental category, things you put into your personal environment or office environment, home harmonizer, car harmonizer, things like that, they are designed to emanate biofield-friendly frequencies through ERT into the space that you live in. Very powerful, very popular in GIA. Now, body-worn solutions, I'll just have a quick sip here. From the body-worn solution category, remember, our body's electric, right? So if you wear an energy resonance technology powered pendant, which all of our pendant styles are, then you have around your solar plexus, if you're wearing it around your neck, or if you're wearing it in your pocket, it's around your kind of leg meridian, where a lot of energy moves and flows. You will insert or introduce through the pendant this bioenergetic bodyguard into your biofield. And that pendant will now start to energetically sing and resonate and harmonize with your body's biofield. That's why they've become extremely popular, because people are, mentioning that they are a lot more calm, they feel less aggravated, they feel more balanced, they sleep better, they recover better after workout, travel doesn't zap them of energy as much, all of those things and many others. So ERT is literally bombarded onto our pendants. The materials, the molecules over an extended period of time absorb the frequencies of energy resonance technology, and they start regurgitating, those frequencies start getting regurgitated out from the pendant into your biofield. And when that happens, you have that resonant interaction, that handshake between, energetically speaking, between your body, the biofield, and the pendant. So if it's not clear already, what does ERT do for the biofield? Supports and strengthens it. It's essential in today's high-tech age, improves resistance to stress, helps get you into that peak performance zone. So that's kind of the energetic handshake I was talking about. If you have two people that are both wearing a pendant, there is, in addition to the natural biofield interaction between the two, there is an additional enhancement and synergy that happens as a result of the biofields being strengthened. So we have this, saying in California, maybe in other states as well, but, hey, I had a really good vibe with this person. Well, it's very funny because it sounds like a surfer kind of esoteric, not really super important term, but in essence, it's super accurate. It's when somebody says, I'm vibing with that person, what they're really saying, energetically speaking, physiologically speaking, they felt a resonance with that person that harmonized. And we've all met people that we don't vibe with. And there is proof that part of that is an energetic clash between biofield A and biofield B. And so our goal in GIA is not just to bring these stress balancing type of solutions to the world. Our goal is, by doing that, to give people a balanced, harmonized frequency and vibration that has a greater synergistic and kind of multiplying effect on the overall balance of how people interact with each other. So GIA is not just a product company, not just electropollution and hydration and all of that. We're really a biofield care company that cares about elevating the nature, the balance, and the calm of biofields to a point where hopefully the anxiety that so many people are feeling these days because of whatever finances, politics, and pandemics, and threats of war in other parts of the world, etc., all of those things can hopefully be simmered down a bit, or hopefully a lot, by bringing these bioenergetic solutions to the world. Let's talk a little science. Real-life biofield images without GIA's ERT. Again, focus on the center, the red and the purple and lines in the center of the outside is kind of the baseline, that wheel you see on the outside. The inside is your biofield. And as you can see, massive difference left and right. When GIA is in the mix, when our technology is in the mix, the biofield is way more balanced, very circular, very round on the right-hand side. I'm talking about the blue and the red lines again. And on the left-hand side, very disrupted, very, jagged edges. Lifeblood microscopy research with our pendant in the mix, you see the typical rouleau effect, that's blood cells sticking together, blood not really moving very freely. On the right-hand side, you got, with the GIA Life pendant, very free-moving blood after just a few minutes. Again, proof positive that energetically things are happening. Now, of course, it's not just the biofield where things, energetic discomfort shows up. There's other areas of the body where that happens as well. That's why, for example, we have spot-specific ERT-powered solutions that we call smart strips. You can place them anywhere on your body. I do it all the time when I'm a weekend warrior thinking I can still play tennis like I did back in the day and then finding out I can't. That is what helps me through energetic discomfort in various areas of my body, especially after playing. Now, they emanate into your biofield, very spot-specific energy resonance technology. So I hope you're seeing the thread here. We're constantly infusing and reinfusing, calming, reinforcing, soothing frequencies that your body understands to help counteract the effects of the toxic frequencies. Now, stress and energetic discomfort also affects your joint health. It doesn't matter where in your body. We got a ton of joints, and these joints tend to act up as we age and as we go out and do exercises and, maybe things we shouldn't be doing at our age anymore. That's what we call the GIA Smart Sleeves. They're highly flexible. We are pairing energy resonance technology with far infrared technology. Combination of those two, super powerful. Far infrared, we know blood circulation, oxygenation of the blood. We also have a 3D knitting process where the way these sleeves move on your body provides stability in one hand, but flexibility and free movement on the other. And that's crucial. I can tell you, over the years, I had a pretty bad ankle injury and surgery in 1995 that almost derailed my tennis career. and, pins and screws and surgeries and you name it to repair it all. So I had to play with an ankle brace thereafter to support my ankle. Part of what the knock was for me with playing with an ankle brace, it gave me tremendous stability. It gave me no flexibility whatsoever. My ankle would literally just move up and down and nothing would side to side. Once I started using the GIA Smart Sleeves for my ankle, I was blown away. I mean, I wish I would have had that in 1995 because I have stability now and I have flexibility. So it allows me to move in all directions so I can still have feeling as to how's my foot positioned on the court, how am I running, how am I planting my foot and all of that. And at the same time, I have the stability to not feel like I'm going to roll over every single time I sidestep. So those are some of the nuances that especially athletes or even weekend warriors are noticing and loving with the Smart Sleeves. So if you haven't tried them yet, they're phenomenal. Back brace, same thing. We got a lot of people who are not even doing sports, but who love the back brace for the support when they're driving, when they're just going on a leisurely walk or whatever it may be. So far infrared, couple of fascinating facts because it is an additional powerful technology that we're working or have worked into the Smart Sleeves, penetrates deep into the tissue, reaches up to 2 to 3 inches beneath the skin, helps reduce joint stiffness and inflammation at the source. It helps increase nitric oxide production, boosts your blood flow, as I mentioned, improves oxygenation, nutrient delivery, and regular exposure to far infrared can enhance the production of collagen, a key protein for maintaining joint cartilage and flexibility, supporting long-term health. So that's on the energy category. I know I spent quite a bit of time on it. It's a huge category for us. It's probably the category that, first put us on the map before we then started delving into these other key pillars, hydration, and then, of course, anti-aging and empowered aging and nourishment on top of that. So let's talk about hydration and roll through that in a few minutes here. First of all, we all know, water is the key component of life, right? You see the percentages on the screen. I'm not going to go through them all, but it's tremendous the percentages of water in each organ in the human body. Now, the NIH said that drinking enough water is associated with significantly lower risk of developing chronic diseases, a lower risk of dying early, lower risk of being biologically older than your chronological age. Think about that. So just drinking sufficient amounts of water, and we'll get to what type of water we recommend you drink, even that will accelerate aging if you're chronically dehydrated. Now, we've always said this, a liquid is only as good as your body's ability to absorb it. So me drinking out of this glass, yes, it's wet because it's liquid. Yes, it will have some hydrating effects, but I'm drinking GIA products. Every single product that is in here is single file aligned. So I have liquids in here that are really absorbable for my body. So because they're 3 times more absorbable than anything else I would be drinking that's not GIA-fied or not single file aligned, I know I can drink theoretically 1/3 of what I would need to drink with another liquid to get the same type of hydration yield. So literally a liquid only as good as your body's ability to absorb it, and what you have in GIA is the optimal absorption technologies on the market. Let's talk now the connection between radiation and aquaporins. We've talked about 5G and radiation and Wi-Fi quite a bit tonight. Let's keep with that theme, but now on the area of hydration. Radiation can affect biomolecules and disrupt water transport via aquaporins. And what are aquaporins? They're the water channels in every single cell. That means if you're exposed to radiation, osmoregulation, water regulation, cellular hydration is being negatively impacted. So oxidative stress, same topic as we discussed before, can alter aquaporin expression that affects the water balance and the physiological processes. That's published science. So what does that mean for you? In GIA, you have hydration and peak performance through what we have with the iWater activation system. And what we do with that system, which I'll show you in a second, is we counter and combat dehydration. Why is that important? Because your brain shrinks when dehydrated. Even mild dehydration temporarily shrinks your brain, affecting your focus. It mimics hunger. Hydration lubricates joints, so it's huge for that. Dehydration makes you cold, and hydration boosts metabolism. Drinking water can spike calorie burn by 30%. So if you're looking to release weight, optimal hydration is hugely important. And I can tell you how many people in GIA over the last 15 years, without dietary supplementation or weight loss, substance, whatever, have reported tremendous amount of weight loss as a result of them getting on an optimal optimal hydration regimen with the GIA water activation system, which you see on the screen. It's a countertop system, super easy, pitcher like 70 ounces, push a button, and of course it's patented. It's unique and different. There's nothing else like it in the marketplace. Leads to that single file alignment that I talked about earlier. And again, you push a button on top of the activator, you wait for 30 minutes, do your thing. You don't have to, of course, wait around there. Just activate your liquid, pour it, and that's it. So if you saw me in the morning, every single morning, I walk from the bedroom to the kitchen. I pour store-bought water, my favorite brand of water. I pour it into the water pitcher. I put that activator on top, and I do exactly what the guy is doing here in the video. I push that button. I walk away, I shower, I get ready for the day. By the time I come out, that water is ready to go. And I have 3 carafes of water in the fridge every single day that are filled with water. That's the daily kind of regimen that we go through here. Now, again, here illustrated on the screen, we take clumps, H2O, 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen, water molecules, and we take those, we bombard them with frequency, and then they get put into that single file over that 30-minute time frame. What that means is that once that 30 minutes is over, you are consuming single file aligned water. You are consuming water that your body actually wants to absorb, that your cells, the aquaporins, these channels, they pull in single file aligned water. And Nobel Prize winning science from the early 2000s has proven that in order for water to actually get absorbed into your body, it needs to go through the aquaporin channel in a single file. So now connect the dots. We have the world's only patented technology that single file aligns water. And Nobel Prize winning research has proven that the only water that can properly be absorbed has to be in single file, in the aquaporin, in those water channels of which you have hundreds of millions, if not billions, because you have so many cells and every cell has got aquaporins. So if you want to be hydrated optimally, it's time to incorporate the outward activation system into your life based on the science, the patent based on this breakdown, the single file alignment, long range molecular alignment. That's what it's called in the patent. That's what you see illustrated here on the screen. Now we put this to the test, of course. Does it work? How does it work? Why does it work, etc. So here on the screen, you see this was done side by side, cup of water on the left, cup of water on the right. On the bottom, you see the timer, hours, minutes, and seconds. So about 2 hours in, these polymer materials that absorb water beads, you can see the GI water on the left, these polymers are expanding much, much larger and quicker than the ones on the right. So proof positive that this single file aligned, this super liquid water, gets into those minuscule pores of those polymers much, much more effectively. And as you can see on the left-hand side, after 5 hours, significant difference in size and absorption. Then we weight the two. We weight the beads that were in the cup on the left and the cup on the right. And when we juxtapose them and we compared them, you can see that the beads in the eye water that were soaked in the eye water for 5 hours were literally over 3 times heavier and had 45% larger diameter than the beads that were in regular water. So now think of this as being your cells. What do you want to be? Want to be a grape or you want to be a raisin? Because a raisin is only a dehydrated grape at the end of the day. So we all want to be grapes. We all want to be fully hydrated. We want to be, hydrated to a point where our skin is glowing, where our signs of aging are reduced, where our hydration level, we're performing at our best because hydration is at an optimum. So this was another interesting one. We did not conduct this in-house at all. This was an accidental discovery by one of our GIA consultants. They were traveling. They had contact lenses, and they ran out of contact lens solution after putting one of the contact lenses into the contact lens solution. So they figured, you know what, eye water is antibacterial, antifungal, super hydrating. Let's just use eye water for the other contact lens. Well, in the morning they wake up and they see that the contact lens that was soaked in eye water had expanded significantly compared to the contact lens that was in contact lens solution. So what had happened overnight was that the eye water, because it's so super liquid, was able to get into those micropores of the contact lens on the right and started pushing the material outward. So again, phenomenal accidental discovery illustrating what super liquid water can do. And I think it's not too far of a logical leap to then go, okay, well, if you can do that for minuscule openings like that in the contact lens, it's a pretty good chance it's going to be able to hydrate me better as well with the aquaporins in my body. So before drinking any water, again, we have blood microscopy here on the left. You see blood is not very freely flowing. That's recipe for disaster on the left. That's what, you know, clogged arteries kind of look like. That's what stroke, pre-stroke type of things look like. In the middle, after drinking filtered water, you see the blood is definitely flowing better. But I'm going to go back and show you this one more time moving. These are actual images taken under the microscope real time. And on the right, you see 15 minutes after drinking GI water, very free-flowing blood cells. That were low effect is basically gone. So you can also, in addition to drinking eye water, of course, you can spray it. Why? Because you got cells everywhere, and skin is the largest organ in your body, largest collection of cells. So even your skin cells want water in a single file line into the aquaporin. And so anybody who's got some issues with their skin, knowing what the eye water can do from an hydration perspective, of course, results are going to vary because people have different causes for it. But I can tell you we've had some incredible before and afters over the years that people have submitted to us, this being a child, which, you know, a son of one of the consultants that was so blown away by what the eye water did that they started promoting the products to other people. So now we talked about biofield. So I want to throw this in just to give you a little insight into the impact of eye water, not just on hydration, but also on the strength of your biofield, because we talked about biofield resistance and resilience being so important. After drinking 8 ounces of eye water, the laboratory showed there was a 14% increase in the symmetry of the biofield and a 57% increase of the biofield area. So this energetic cocoon, this first line of defense, was inflated by more than half as a result of drinking just an 8-ounce glass of eye water. Again, proof positive that when you lace eye water with the right frequencies, it can have a dramatically positive impact on your biofilm, not just on your hydration. Now, let's talk about impact. Let's get to nourishment. Detoxing, cleansing in the wireless age, absolutely huge. Our key product there is called Cleanse. It basically allows you to flush toxins out. It's a staple in our household, staple with all friends and family. It's your daily detox, your daily cleanse. That's what gives this yellowish color that you see here. I have Cleanse and eye water and just a tad of eye thrive in here. So the combination of those three is extremely powerful. Now, Cleanse, as I mentioned, is formulated in a way that it can be used daily. It's not just a 7-day cleanse and you get off of it. It supports the body's natural detox pathways, provides essential antioxidant and anti-inflammatory protection, rebalances nutrients and energy, and consistent use is absolutely key. So it's not just optional, it's encouraged. Because we know when your body gets blasted with electric pollution and other stressors, toxicity buildup is constant. Therefore, gentle detoxification needs to be constant as well. Energy resonance technology, you're probably tired of it by now. I say this many times, but it's such a key technology for us. When we have our products, including Cleanse, go to the energy resonance technology process, the activation process, what happens is the biophotonic release, which is the energy presence, the energy infusion liveliness of this substance is turbocharged. There's no other way of putting it. On the left, you see a really good discharge already of photons. So there's an energetic presence in a drop of of cleanse as it is. But once we pull it or put it through the energy resonance technology process, it just lights up in terms of additional energy presence. So these are actual gas discharge utilization images of one drop of the cleanse. Now, the companion product to the cleanse is what's called the iThrive, our best-selling nutritional product for years. It helps you re-nourish and thrive in that electro-polluted environment. Vitamins, antioxidants, it's an absolute super formula of antioxidants. Why you need it? Well, digital life, we talked about it. Those vital nutrients get depleted out of your system. That impairs the body's ability to process and absorb nutrients. Oxidative stress starts setting in, etc. So EMF, EMR, and other stressors have a dramatically negative impact on the body's cellular metabolism, and iThrive helps replenish those nutrients that didn't get in properly. Did you know that 1 gram of the proprietary blend has an ORAC value? An ORAC value is basically antioxidant value equal to that of nearly 15 servings of fruits and vegetables. So if you're not great at getting your fruits and veggies every single day, trust me, I try, but I would be sitting here and lying and tell you that I'm able to have 15 servings of fruits, berries, and vegetables every single day. I don't even know how my digestive system would deal with that or how I could pull that off, eating all day. Now, what I do know is that when I have the iThrive, that just 1 gram of that proprietary blend gives me that same ORAC, oxidative reduction absorption capacity. So the antioxidant, the anti-aging capacity of that, the power, that turbocharged nature of it, of that super formula, helps me get the same potency that's equivalent to 15 servings of fruits and vegetables. That's why it's a staple in our diet. Again, we bombard every bottle of iThrive and every other nutritional with our single file alignment technology to make sure that those nutrients get into your system as you drink it. So it's not just the water, it's also all other nutritional products that are liquid. On the left, again, compared to on the right, biofield strength dramatically increased when the iThrive is in the mix, when the ERT is in the mix, the energy resonance technology, the energy burst, that's an actual picture. That's not an illustration that you see on the center strip there. That's an actual image taken by GDV camera in a laboratory in Colorado that analyzed a drop of iThrive and compared it when it was charged with ERT versus without. So again, this is the enhanced or the blown up version of it. So you see the difference between the two. So what's iThrive? Combination of superfruits, antioxidants, essential vitamins, metabolic boosters, patented proprietary SFA and ERT technology, unparalleled powerhouse, comprehensive antioxidant defense, enhanced immune function, detoxification, optimized cardiovascular and circulatory health, energy metabolism support, cognitive stress resilience. It's chock full with goodness. And it's the highest ORAC value liquid product in North America. That's how potent that product is and how much stuff we have put in there. That's amazing for you. Now, another companion product in nourishment is a product called Edge. Why that's important, I think it's pretty clear. Getting the edge on stress, when we talked about stressors here for 20 minutes plus, I think it's important. We all live a hectic life. People exercise, they travel. Some people have health issues. Edge is powerful formula to help counteract that. In veggie capsules, the powder has Texo-E, which is a patented ingredient, which supports mitochondrial function, prevents oxidative damage. Texo-E enhances cellular protection, so it helps you prepare to repair. So before you get on a long flight, before you have, a long night out, before you go on a long run, you would prep your body with GIA Edge, preferably 2 hours before, to get those repairmen into your HSP, they're called heat shock proteins, into your bloodstream to make sure that as the damage to your body happens, as the stress event happens, the repairmen, metaphorically speaking, already there, repairing everything, the damage that's occurred. And that's what Edge is for. So incredible product for us. Different vitamin blends, vitamin B6, pantothenic acid. It helps you rebalance nutrients and energy, boosts immune resilience. TexoE, again, the patented formula I talked about from the prickly pear cactus extract, and super powerful formula. You're going to take one if your weight is less than 125 pounds. You take two if your weight is in excess of 125 pounds, and it stays in your system for about 3 days. So that's Edge. Heart Fit, of course, your heart's going to be negatively impacted too by electromagnetic radiation. There's quite a few studies out there that show that, and this product is extremely powerful, one of my favorites. It's got giagolon. It's known as the southern ginseng, has ingredients that help regulate cholesterol, reducing LDL, triglycerides while increasing HDL, the good cholesterol, enhances nitric oxide production, improves blood vessel flexibility and circulation. It's got published science about reducing oxidative stress, and its companion ingredient is hawthorn berry. They're rich in flavonoids, offering strong cardioprotective effects. Improves heart function by enhancing cardiac muscle efficiency, circulation, neutralizing oxidative stress. Super powerful product, very simple. 2 key ingredients in veggie caps, powerful heart fitness formula. And of course, you want to energize in a wireless age, and that's where the GIA Smart Card comes in. You can place this card underneath drinks, any liquids, any food. Usually, the general rule of thumb is the more liquid or the more moist a food is, a food item, the more the Smart Card is going to energize. Neutralization of environmental stressors, enhanced taste, improved nutrient absorption, elevated life force, and just a really, really phenomenal product to incorporate into your daily life, and kind of a party starter in the sense that people ask immediate questions. When you pull out the Smart Card at a restaurant or a get-together, whatever, you put it underneath your drink, people go, what is that? Why is that a metal card? What does it do? It's a great icebreaker to explain to people what the power of the human biofield, energy resonance technology, what GIA does. So it's not just a calling card. It's not just an energetic card, a Smart Card. It's a great door opener for you to have a conversation about GIA. And last but certainly not least, and I know there's been a ton of information, but I really wanted to make up for kind of the technical difficulties we had last time and give you the best that I can possibly give you in the time that is allotted, of giving you an overview and an in-depth into each of our categories. So last category, we talked about aging. We talked about wireless radiation can accelerate skin aging, inducing oxidative stress, damaging collagen, elastin fibers, leading to wrinkles, reduced skin elasticity, and other signs of aging. Now, we have come out with, I think, a phenomenal group of products. If I could take my laptop right now and walk you into the master bathroom, you'll see all the GIA products lined up on both the his and hers counters, and those products are staples. There's, I just did a trip a few days ago where I had in my toiletry bag all those bottles, and they come with me wherever I go, including the brand new mask. So defending against environmental toxins, radio frequency, and EMR damage is absolutely important. And the Hydra Skincare Collection that you can see, those are the components right now. These 6 products you see on the screen, absolutely crucial. What do they do? Give you a quick summary. First of all, they're synergistic, and it's a 6-step process. And you can pick any step and be better off than you would have been by not using any of these products. But I happen to use all 6, and I love them. Hydra Renew Cleanser, morning and night, removes toxins, prepares the skin. You wouldn't believe, even without exercise, just walking around, pretty sunny day in a not smoggy city, how much toxicity there is on the surface of the skin. So cleanser is huge. Reveal Hydra Exfoliator. I've told the story many times. My sister growing up, she was in skincare. She told me when I was 15 years old, you got to start exfoliating because that's how your skin stays fresh and new and this and that. And, back then, you don't really listen to your sister that much. But, you realize later that that was a really, really good input. So It clears buildup, promotes renewal. HydraSearch Radiance Fluid, one of my favorites. Lightweight hydration, shields against oxidative stress. HydraSearch Radiance Serum, nourishes, repairs, brightens the skin. The Night Repair, love that. Provides intensive hydration and repair. I go through one of them in less than a month. I overuse, I'll be honest, but I love it. Love the smell, love everything about it. Hydro Renew Mist refreshes, hydrates throughout the day. I like driving in a convertible. I get battered by sun. I spray it throughout the day, and it feels like I never am dehydrated. So absolutely love it. The system ensures comprehensive defense against the skin-damaging effects of EMR, pollutants, environmental toxins, while enhancing skin health and appearance on every level. Again, I'm going to show you just to get an idea. When you go to the website, you see the products, at least you have a reference point as to kind of what you're looking for, from cleanser to fluid to serum to the mist to the mask to the exfoliator, all here seen on the screen. Okay, we're kind of at the end now of the last minute or so. If this was of interest to you, if you say, gosh, I would love to put my energy and effort, whether it's part-time, full-time, behind this sounds really fun, this sounds benefit-driven, this company's been around for 15 plus years, the results are there, the products, the science, the technology, well, and you ask yourself, well, how would I talk about these products? Well, I would keep it super simple. Explain the market size. Market growth is there massively, wellness. With GIA, you have access to breakthrough products to satisfy the need. We have key differentiators, so I would share a couple of the patents with people. Proprietary technology we talked about. We have 15 plus years of exceptional customer consultant experience, so it's not a back-of-the-napkin idea or startup that you don't know whether they're going to make it or they're not going to make it. We've been around. We are super solid, and we've grown. So, and I would show people how to build a GIA business. Wellness gatherings, 90-day success track, quick start earnings, car bonuses. We have 14 different ways, I believe now, of earning an income in GIA. So it's real, it's fun, it's rewarding. And I would keep it simple that way. And I would get back to the person who invited you on tonight's webinar, get my questions answered, and find out how you can get involved, or if you're involved already, how you can take your business to the next level. One of the things that's going to help you do that is enjoying our specials. We have specials every single month, sometimes twice a month. And I can tell you this month, they are absolutely off the chart epic. So if you haven't taken advantage of them, do it quickly, because they're not going to be around forever. We switch them up all the time, and but they're powerful. So I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time going into detail as to what exactly they are this month, because they do change rather quickly. But if I were you, I would get off this webinar tonight, go on the GIA website, the person invited you, and make sure that you take advantage of these specials as much as you can, because they are super powerful and super rewarding. So with that, I think we've motored through a lot of information. My goal was to do this in 1 hour or less, and I think I hit it right on the dot. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is absolute fun for me. I hope you felt it even through the screen, that this is exciting, that I'm passionate about this. This is what we've grown for the last 15 years, and we are so excited to continue the path upward and forward and come out with new innovations that are going to just, they're going to be powerful, different, and right in line with what has made GIA so popular and so internationally recognized as it has been over the last 15 years. So thank you for all you guys' support. Appreciate it. Have a great evening, and we'll talk later.